Happy New Year's Eve! How are you doing there, gardeners? Ed and Delia here with Fresh Picked Acres, and as we promised we was going to do our seed variety episode here. We're at the end of 2023. We're glad to have you along. We have a lot of new subscribers, and we're very happy to have you. So I would like to cover a lot of different information. Delia, why don't you go ahead and talk about some of the advantages of ordering early, such as early as August and that type of a thing.
Some companies run out of their seeds and then you get put on back order. For example, last year we ordered dill and we didn't get it till almost the season was over.
Yeah, till it was almost over because we delayed.
So we still have those seeds to plant this year because it's way too late to plant them last year when we finally got them.
So then you also talk about some savings, such as one of the companies, I don't remember which one it is, but if you order, it's RUP or something.
RUP, yes.
But if you order in August, you get how much discount?
10%. You see the little thing on the.
Okay, they gave us the
10%, and every month after that you order is 1% less.
You get 1% less. So there's advantages to certainly doing it. Now, obviously, taxes go into it. If you made a lot of money in this coming up year, then maybe you want to go and spend the money in the current year before the new year comes. That makes sense. Or if you're in another situation where, gosh, I already invested in my high tunnel, or like we did, we went ahead and bought a plastic mulch laying machine. All of a sudden you say, well, I want to go and carry this stuff over. I don't need any more receipts for 2023, so I need to order seeds in 2024. There's those kind of things that come into it. But as far as supply and demand is concerned, certainly the earlier you can order it, I would say, the better you are. We don't want to get yourself in a position to where our dill didn't show up till next year, and now it becomes a next year seed, which we're happy we have that taken out of the way. But with the thing about seeds is I know they do very well being carried over. However, I do believe there is a germination drop the longer you keep it. So it's kind of a deal, I think, for the most part. We try to live hand to mouth, in other words, from year to year when it comes to seeds. But there are situations like our lettuce seeds. That's something there.
That one is another one that if you buy in bulk, it's much cheaper. But there's only so much lettuce you can grow 1 year. So we do have a lot of that seed from last year that'll carry over into the new year. So we don't need to order that this year.
So yeah, and we've done the same thing with some pumpkins and things. Pumpkins, we're buying them in quantities of 100 seeds, and that's the minimum order. But I don't necessarily need 100 gourd plants planted this year, so in certain varieties. So we will carry some of them over and try to plant, say, 50 of them this year. We're a small market and that type of thing. So let's get into what I believe is important when it comes to market gardening. And I think many of you have experienced this if you're into the selling your produce. There's going to be areas that thrive on organic, and you're going to get paid for going organic and that type of thing. Your area, your particular place. Some places like heirloom tomatoes, and you can sell all your heirloom tomatoes out. That's not our area right here. I think there is quite a few people that have no problem buying organic. I don't necessarily think that they're willing to pay more in our area with you because you're organic. I think there that we kind of go along the line of a sustainable farm or conventional farming in what we do. We're also limited. We have how much for lettuce can you get right now? About $5 for about 5 ounces.
6 ounces.
6 ounces of lettuce, that type of thing. I'll tell you this: come August. If you have a tomato at that time, well, everybody in our country is going to have a tomato. So you got to be thinking in the terms of like, I need to get my tomatoes harvested before we get into August, because everybody's going to have a tomato and your price is going to just drop. Well, you can get a good price. We're averaging early season about $3 to $3.50 a pound if you have it there by the 4th of July type of a thing. But the longer it goes on, the more tomatoes come in line, things like that. So that's some of the thinking that we go into. And also for me, I've grown the heirlooms in the past, and there are people who are still growing like the Cherokee purples, and they are niche in that. But for the mass majority, I put out the heirloom tomatoes, and I've got them there. But people in my area
want the nice red.
They want the red round tomato. So for me, it's not worth taking up a space for me to carry some heirlooms to the market and then have to bring them back home and throw them in a compost pile. I mean, there ain't but so much tomatoes that me and Delia can eat here. So let's get down to our strategy and how we're ordering seeds. The one thing we're going to do is we're going to double our sweet corn harvest this year.
No, we're not.
That's what I want to do, but that's okay. But let's get into that. I like some of the commercial varieties. We're planting about 1.5 acres of sweet corn right now. That's something there that I can do with my planter and my tractor. So really in this case, Delia's not too involved on the planting side, which is really good because there's a lot of other work that can be done. No, you don't get in my way. No, you don't get in my way. I tell you there that when we were hand planting, the best we could do is 14 rows in a day. And now I can take it. I just have a 6-row Model 7000 planter, but I can turn right around and plant that in 5-10 minutes. And it takes me longer to set it up and to tear it down than it does to actually do the job. But the thing is I'm not losing opportunity of when to plant. So getting out of that subject, but let's talk about I'm going through rough seeds when it comes to some of these commercial type of varieties and things like that. Temptation's a nice early variety if you want to try to get in there by the 4th of July in my area. And you know, you can't do it everywhere you go, but you can certainly in our area you can push it. So our soil temp's going to be pushing that 55-degree soil temp, and I think that's important. There's two things with sweet corn. You need at least 55 degrees, and you also need to have the frost being done. So around April 27th is about our April 28th here in eastern Kansas, where we live, is about the end of the frost. So you can start to push it. We'll have to watch our weather. That's for certain.
Yeah, that's the big thing with the corn is that during the time that it gets planted, we get really bad rainstorms, and and sometimes the corn
we've had it wash out. We've had ponding. We've had soil erosion. There's a lot of bad things there. But this year's going to be different. That's what you got to be as a farmer, is optimistic. But Temptation's a nice early variety. You get that in there, you'll be one of the first people at your farmer's market. Next would be a variety called Passion, and there's also a number variety called Passion 2, SV 901 4515. Some of these are, as my brother-in-law Mike Rogie once said, he says, if you look in the seed catalog, they're all great, right? So this one here we want to try this year, the last one, the seed number, but I do want to continue to have good vigor in my plant, to have a plant there that can stand up to our Kansas winds. So you need a good stalk, you need to have a good ear that can give you that. So the next thing, watermelon. Now we kind of suck at growing watermelon.
Well, it just again Mother Nature, what she decides to throw our way.
And
2
what
years
else?
ago, the crows.
The crows got our watermelon. So we got a whole different strategy now, and
more work on my side.
More work on Delia's side. Delia's become very proficient. I'm glad, because I mean it's really accelerated our business. But she'll start a lot of the seeds. We would plant watermelon in the field, and what happened is, and this applies to this applies to any cucurbit or squash or anything like that. What would happen is we hand plant it, and anything that was hand planted, you're not going down deep. You don't really have that tight of a soil. You kind of poke your seed in and cover it up. Well, as soon as it come up, the crows show up, and they'll work their little beak around the young seedling, and they'll pull it out, and then they peck the center of the germ. And I know I planted watermelon and cantaloupe at least twice last year. We didn't get any. We got, well, yeah, at least. I mean, it was terrible. So Delia's going to go this year. She's going to start the plants inside, get a little bit of a root structure. We also
plus they'll be bigger, and it'll be harder for the crows to do anything with it. So
knock on some good oak. The next thing was our weed pressure. Now, I don't have any problems being a good. I did use some herbicides and stuff along that line. However, we ended up getting water hemp last year. Palm amaranth is the other side of it, and that is a souped up. I'm trying to think of pigweed. It's a souped up pigweed, and you have to catch it very early. And well, we're a water hemp farm now. Once you have it, I mean, one plant's 1 million seeds or whatever the case is. So I mean, it's a tremendous amount of seeds. So we're a water hemp farm. So we've invested in a plastic mulch layer to try to reduce that competition on our watermelon and cantaloupe. The nice thing about when we didn't have that, I felt like there that it required less irrigation by us because Mother Nature could take care of it. But now when you have just a little tiny hole, well, now we're going to have to be better at our irrigation and fertigation and things along that line. So anyway, that's watermelon, and we're going to plant sangria this year. We did do crimson last year, and no matter what we did in the past, it really isn't. They're all probably good varieties, but I think sangria is a nice oblong, it's very sweet watermelon. We grew a couple of them that were pretty good, and we liked the flavor. And I think and we're getting that from Rupp as well. So far, what I'm talking about, we're getting from Rupp seeds, and I think we're ordering around 250 in that category of those seeds. We have 4 acres of that type of ground. We have some more under plastic, but underneath of our high tunnels. But the other varieties we're getting from Rupp is in the cantaloupe department. We're getting 2 varieties there, and it's Anthena and Aphrodite. Never tried any one of them, have we?
No.
We haven't tried them, so we don't have anything on it. But again, those are around, around 100 seeds?
Piece, yeah.
So they're 100 seeds each of them. And whether we get them all planted or not on cantaloupe, I'm not sure. I know we can get rid of every watermelon we grow. The cantaloupe, we'll see how we do. We might be at 50 of each variety right now, get 100 out. We'll see. We might get them all planted this year. The next thing from Rupp is that we're going with is green beans. Now in this one, I know we hand pick our green beans. However, I still want a plant that has a rigid, strong stalk coming out of it. I don't want them laying.
Well, the wind will. We have a lot of wind, and
we have a lot of wind.
The other varieties, it would knock them over.
They would knock them over and things like that. And if we ever get into using cultivators or anything like that to help with some of our weed pressure, you also don't need to have green beans laying in the aisleway. But I like coming up to a plant that's standing. Now they will bend over a little bit when they're heavy with bean, but that's a good problem there. The green beans, I'm going to say that I kind of waited too long in the past. I think as soon as I know that the market is very strong on green beans, where we're making about $4 a quart, or sweet corn, by the way, or $4 a pound, which is very strong. I mean, obviously you got a lot more handwork you got to do to pick them, but I can plant them with my planter, and we can irrigate a little bit. We're going to use our overhead irrigation some this year too, so that's going to help us. But we're using that's Desperado from Rupp for our green beans this year, and we ordered quite a bit. How many?
1,000.
1,000. Is that it? No. We planted 10,000.
I'm sorry, 20,000.
20,000 seeds of green beans. I knew that didn't sound right. Yeah, we go through a lot of green beans. And I think we could process, we went through 15,000 at least last year, I think, whatever. But you're planting, it's a very high population, you know, every 3 to 4 inches is another green bean. So you can get about a half a pound per plant, that type of thing. It's hand picking. I kind of sit on my butt on a mat, and we have a slight slope, and I just scooch my way down the hill. Delia's the
squatter.
You're the squatter. Yeah, we all have our way of doing that. So let's go ahead. Also with RUP, while I'm there, we're going with a cabbage variety, and what we've learned, we're not going to be able to ever have a summer cabbage here. Or whatever the case is. But when our tomatoes are getting done, I think our strategy this year is to get the tomatoes done, get them out of there, and plant as many cabbages in the high tunnel as we can. I think we're getting our disease, I don't want to call it disease pressure, but our bug pressure is very strong. Plus, we have a lot of summertime weeds. We have a lot of summertime. We literally would water, and I think between the wind and our 100-degree heat and 90-degree heat, and it won't get really cool until the 1st of October. Right. I mean, we stay pretty hot up into that stage. Now, we'll have nice bluebird 80-degree days here and there, but we're looking at 90s to 100-degree temps where we're at. So we're going to go with Grand Vantage, which is a pretty good size cabbage. I think it's it's a bigger cabbage, but Grand Vantage is our choice of cabbage in there. And the last thing from RUP we're going to do is get some eggplant. And
this is a newbie. We've never planted.
We never planted eggplant. I think we might have one time, but no. All right. Well, I take her word for it.
If we did, it didn't grow at all.
And this, okay, that's probably us. But we're gonna do night shadow with the eggplant. I got one more from RUP, and I'm done with my little thing. So zucchini will sell very well for us. I'm gonna say for every 10 zucchini, we can maybe sell 1 yellow squash in our area. It's just kind of. It's the people are willing to go ahead and do the zucchini. So we're doing payload on that one, and that's a new one to us. We hadn't done payload, I don't believe.
No,
before.
not that.
But it looks good in the catalog. So we're going to give it a shot and see what that one does. So let's get into real quick some of our early spring stuff from onions. I think we use Dixondale. They're down in Texas, and you're not going to get every one of your varieties that you want to grow from place, but let me just share this we use starts. Yes. We use starts. We don't use bulbs and we don't use seed. We use starts, and they do very well for us. So the varieties from Dixondale is Candy. We do like our Walla Walla in our area, although it says they do better up north, from daylight and whatever. I will say we still do well with Walla Walla, and it's probably some of our heat that helps us. We do Red Candy, Superstar, and Patterson. Now, Patterson is a variety that's supposed to store very well. We've been fortunate, been able to sell our stuff pretty much, so we never got into having a lot of carryover of that, and we're going to continue to go with that. But anyway, those are our varieties. Candy, Walla Walla, Red Candy, Superstar, which is a white onion, and Patterson. Now, I don't do that many on Superstar as I once did. Again, we get into, I think, for our area, that it's probably 4 to 1, 4 yellow onions to 1 white. And then on top of it, I don't have any problem selling the Red Candy. That seems to do very well. Now, when you go through them, I think you need to order based upon what they say they're going to have in a bundle. I think they're going to guarantee you, say, 65. If it's 55 or 60 per bundle, assume that's what you're going to have, and just be prepared if you get a bundle of 85 for this one, because they might have just grabbed a bunch of them because they were small or whatever. But you might need to do it. But that's how I would order. There was one year that they were actually sending us 100 in a bundle instead of the 55, and so last year
they were smaller.
But we ended up having to for whatever reason, their count kind of changed on us, and we were short last year because we had to order again because we assumed we were getting our 100. That's okay. On lettuce, there's two varieties that does very well. My friend Scott Thompson, and he does more head lettuce, but Butter Crunch and I think Red Butter Crunch also, but we sell the green. But Red and Green Butter Crunch is a good seller for him in the head form. And from a leaf lettuce standpoint, we have a lot of seeds still left over, and that's All Star. I think that's the Johnny's product is All Star, and you know you're ordering 5,000 seeds. Our area here, I know that many of you in different suburban areas can make a living just doing 100% lettuces and microgreens and things like that. But and you're flipping them beds very quickly. We don't see that where we could sell that much lettuce in our area. I mean, you come with, I think you could probably sell 20 bags of lettuce per week.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah.
Ballpark. And there's going to be weeks when you do 20 and you wish you had 30, but there's also weeks you do 20 and you end up doing 5 or 10.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so you're going home with half of that. I know I see folks in the videos that do that, but I think it's an eye-opening when you go around to different parts of the country. Say you go into Virginia, North Carolina, well, collard greens is going to sell, and there's a lot of collard greens. I'm not going to sell that many collard greens. I remember hearing Neversink Farms talk about how he was going to put collard greens up in New York, and you just can't get folks to eat it. One of the things that we liked very much, but we were practically giving them away, and that was Swiss chard. I mean, they grew nice, they're beautiful, people love them, but we can't get enough of it sold for a price. So that particular market is out. So let's jump over to what is this one?
Pumpkins.
So let's go to pumpkins. So pumpkin-wise, where's Outstanding?
Right here.
Let me see. Let me show them the book. By the way, folks, this is the. Oh, you already did?
Yeah,
all right, you got it. All right, I didn't. I thought I was talking to them folks. We're going to go to a company that's very that I like very much. It's Outstanding Seed Company for pumpkins.
And they are mostly just pumpkins, right? Yep.
They're just all pumpkins. They're all pumpkins. They have their own varieties. Go ahead, Delia. Tell them the types we're going to grow with.
We are going to go. Most of these we have planted previously.
We planted them, and these are also the jack-o'-lantern stuff.
Right.
They're the bigger jack-o'-lanterns.
So we're doing Dynasty, Denali, Everest, Benchmark.
Now Benchmark.
We've done that one too.
Yeah,
the new one that we're going to try this year is called Green Eggs and Ham.
Green Eggs and Ham. That's a Cinderella type that has green and orange bliss.
And bunch of warts, which we also did last year.
A bunch of warts. So those are the ones we're going with. Outstanding Seed Company, and like I said, you're going to have to order 100 minimum, I think, per packet.
I believe so.
So you can get more, but you're not going to get less. So those are things. But I think pumpkins do stay pretty well in the fridge. So that's on that one. What else are we going to do on pumpkins? Oh, here we go. From Johnny's, we have Blaze. I know you want to look at
our Johnny's.
That's Johnny's. So we're going to do Blaze. We're going to do Scarface.
Blaze we did very well last year. Last year, it's a smaller size pumpkin, but it's orange.
It's got stripes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I remember that. Scarface, which is a small warty. That's a new one to us, right?
Yes.
That's going to be a new one. Autumn Colors.
Kershaw.
Which is a Kershaw. We're going to go with that one.
Those sold well last year, the Kershaws.
We can do well. The insects like the Kershaws very much, and the Hubbards. I'm just letting you know that ahead of time. And the last one is your pie, which is Cinnamon Girl.
Cinnamon Girl, yeah. That's a smaller pumpkin, topping at about 5 pounds.
Well, we might be looking at a little bit bigger one too besides it, but right now that's what we got. You're going to go on. Let's jump into... we got onions. Yeah, we're getting through this pretty good, folks. For us, what we're going now, we're getting down to the hard one for us.
So what else do we have out of Johnny's?
Well, I don't. Hold on. I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Chill pill. But tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
And what are you going to do this year on tomatoes?
So we went to where did we go to last year?
K-State
Research. They had a conference going on, and we went there, and we went through their greenhouses and stuff, and they have a grafted tomato, which we can purchase from them, but I figure I'm going to give it a whirl this season. So that's my new adventure this year, is trying to graft tomatoes.
Yeah, so we're going to give grafting a shot. Now there's some grafting tomatoes. There's a lot on there. I'm certain many of you have seen it. Maybe you haven't, but the root stock is that we're going to go with is Maxifort, and we get that out of Johnny's on the tomatoes. I've heard a lot of good things. There's some different ones out there. So when it comes down to grafting, one of the important things is we're looking at the soil-borne package, the disease package. What does it help with? That's really the number one thing. The number two thing is a vigorous plant growth, the ability of the root system to go ahead. If you see a tail going across, that's our little girl Maddie. But the upkeep,
that's a dog.
It's our dog. But the root system actually helps out with uptake of nutrients, right? And more vigorous plant growth. And I'm hearing all these wonderful things, including at the research. He definitely sold us on the up to 10 more pounds per plant type of thing. I think that's his words. Don't hold it to me. So anyway, I'm watching a lot of K-State tomato grafting type of a thing. And we've got, I think the grafting is less scary to me than the actual healing chamber of making sure we maintain enough humidity and not allow them to dry out. So there's those kind of things and hardening them all. But all right. So we already talked about a little bit at the beginning of the intro of our deal when it came down to how we don't do very well with heirlooms. So the varieties that we do well, red round tomatoes, Red Deuce is on the top, and we're getting that seed from Harris. Harris has a lot of nice seeds. We like that company. I think all these are. No, we're not. They're not all coming from Florida. Then the next one is Florida 91. Now, why am I choosing a Florida variety? I've grown it for a while, but one of the things I like about some Florida varieties is the heat. Having tomatoes pollinate while it's hot. I think that there is northern strains and there's southern strains, and I have a nice red round tomato. I think it's probably an 8 to 10 ounce tomato. Don't hold me to it. But that's Florida 91, and we're getting that from Tomato Growers. We don't have that catalog, folks, but that's where we get the Florida 91. Johnny's catalog has BHN 589. We get into one of them numbers, kind of a commercial. These are all determinate tomatoes. We've grown and strung up Big Beef, the indeterminates for a while, but we're going to change our game plan there, and we're getting away.
The issue we had with those was that come late July, early August, they start cracking, and no matter what we do, they still crack.
So maybe if we
can't sell them.
Maybe if they were grafted, we could avoid some of that, which it could be. But I think we have another game plan. We call it the small greenhouse, big greenhouse. One's a 30 by 72, the other's by 20 by 48. So we're going to kick out the main tomatoes except for cherry tomatoes, which we don't have an actual variety yet. Do you know what you planted last year besides chocolate sprinkles and sugar?
The chocolate sprinkle was a deeper color cherry tomato, and it didn't sell as well as the other one. The other one was a traditional, red
oblong.
And those did sell. I just have to look it up to see what.
So we're gonna just get out of the again another tomato that is not doing. It sells, but you got to push it. Does that make sense? You got to. I gave away a lot of chocolate sprinkle tomatoes for them to test it. Sometimes I sold, sometimes I didn't. And I have a red cherry tomato pint right beside it, and that would sell. So we're going to go back to the red. You got to go with what your areas are. So those are cherries we haven't selected yet, but it's going to be a red oblong type of a cherry tomato that's nice, big, and plump. I'll just put it that way. Bell peppers, or peppers in general. Let's get the jalapeno out of the way. We're going through Harris again, and we're doing a jalapeno called Dante. We've grown that, and it's a nice 4-inch jalapeno, nice and they redden up real nice too if so you continue to grow it. One of the things we did at the K-State Research last year in their tour is they actually had some test results of their bell peppers in the amount of production, and we're going to go through Harris on all of our bell peppers as well. Revolution, Red Knight, and the last one's Gordo. And those are pretty good yielding bell peppers. But let's talk about our success outside of bell peppers versus inside. The same variety.
The same variety. The difference in between outside in the field and inside in the high tunnel is the size. I mean, literally, our field peppers are about that size, maybe 3 inches.
Yeah.
Versus
you might get an occasional 4, but not much.
Versus the ones in the high tunnel, which were massive peppers.
Beautiful. would beat a lot of supermarket type of ones. So, you're going to go ahead this year, instead of having 1 row of bell peppers, you're going to have 2, and
two double rows.
And we do 2 double rows, and we tried the yellows last year, and a lot of them ended up on the 50-cent pile to get rid of them and stuff like that. The big bell peppers were able to sell at $1.50 a pepper. As they got smaller, we kind of break them up. Well, these here are $1 and these here are 50 cents. And I tell you, the yellow bell peppers pretty much went into the 50-cent pile. I hate to say it, but it's the honest truth. Red round tomatoes, big green bell peppers. Now, is Gordo, that's your 3-lobe.
It's a sweet pepper.
That's long.
But they can get up to about what? 8 inches
8
long?
inches, and it's a 3-lobe, and a lot of people would see it, maybe called a poblano, but it's a sweet pepper is what that one is. So we do better with the growing in our greenhouse, so having a shade cloth over the top, which tells me maybe we need to go ahead, and I'm gonna see if I can't get an outside shade cloth to go down a row. We're gonna have more than what we can do, but if I can continue to get these peppers to grow so well, maybe our heat is too intense. It's still hot in the greenhouse, but it doesn't have the wind, and it's got the shade over the top, the 50% shade cloth. So I'd like to try some of that, because we can sell a lot of this stuff. You're going to double production, but we can sell a lot of that stuff if we could just get a good quality product when it comes down to it. Do you have anything else when it comes to some of this? You're going to order some herbs.
Yeah.
Which
I like my herbs.
She does some herbs. We don't sell too many of them. We seem to keep them here at the house.
Those are mostly for me.
So anyway, that's more or less our marketing game plan this year.
As far as ordering seeds, because like we said earlier, there are seeds from last year that are carrying over. Radishes sell very well, and I still have lots of seeds from that, so we don't need to order any this year. What else do we have from last year that we don't have to order this year?
Oh, I don't know. But you're in there so much in that part.
So there's a lot of stuff, and even though the yellows peppers don't sell that well, I still have yellow pepper seeds from last year, so they will get planted.
They will get planted. I want to talk about where we get our supply-ins, but I see this has gone on a while, so I'm certain that we'll have lost a lot of our viewers by the time we get down to this. So I'm going to do another video right behind this, talking about where we get some of our supplies and that type of a thing. We're glad to have you along. Thank you very much for coming. We're wishing you a very happy new year. What time do you think how long do you think we're going to stay up till tonight?
Oh, well, I will stay up till the new year.
She'll stay up till the new year. I not me. Yeah, I'm going to be going to sleep here probably about 9 or 10. So I'm not very good at the excitement of the new year, but we're happy to have you. Thank you very much, and until we meet again, come grow with us.